When I got that original phone call, I ended that phone call and literally looked at my husband at the time and said, he killed her. I knew immediately.
A mother's greatest fear is confirmed as her daughter's new husband is found guilty of killing her in their Alaska apartment before dumping her body in a storm drain.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Zaryus Hildebrand, guilty.
I had the chance to speak with Sariah Barney Hildebrand's mother after the verdict and to ask her about Zaryus Hildebrand's bizarre behavior, both on and off the witness stand.
My plan was to hide the body of my wife and then clean up the blood off the mattress in the surrounding area.
Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. If you're watching this and you're into content creation or you're putting things out on social media, you might be wondering, how do we share all of these clips so quickly on all these stories? Well, we use something called Opus Clip. So Opus Clip is an all-in-one AI editor that makes it so easy to cut, create, and upload videos across any platform. Through AI, Opus Clip generates B-roll, it reframes footage, and it even cleans up audio. It is so easy. You just visit opus.pro/sidebar, you sign up, you upload, and in minutes, you'll have perfectly edited clips ready to go. For TikTok, Shorts, Reels, Opus Clip is really your one-stop shop. Having a tool like Opus Clip means that our producers can get you viral courtroom updates instantly. This is the most powerful tool there is to share ideas and edit like a pro. So go to opus.pro/sidebar to get a free week and then 50% off. A U.S. Army soldier in Alaska has been convicted of killing his new wife, shooting her after a night out celebrating his 21st birthday. Jury found Zaryus Hildebrand guilty of a lesser charge of second-degree murder after about 10 hours of deliberation. We first told you about this case. We first told you about Hildebrand and his wife, Sariah, in the lead-up to his trial. We gave you a preview of what this was going to look like. But over the course of 2 weeks, we learned many shocking new details about their relationship and specifically about Hildebrand himself. When Hildebrand opted to take the stand in his own defense, that was a sight to see. Testified about everything from cheating on his wife to disturbing phone searches. It was all on full display. August 2023, Hildebrand reported that his wife, 21-year-old Sariah, was missing. The couple, both members of the military community, they had just married the previous December. Hildebrand served with the 11th Airborne Division at Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson. Sariah was a member of the Alaska Army National Guard, serving as a combat medic. She also worked at a local restaurant called Bread and Brew. And then you go to Saturday, August 5th. They went out with friends to celebrate Zaryus Hildebrand's 21st birthday. But when he was denied entry to a bar for being too drunk, according to investigators and the prosecution, the couple apparently went home to their apartment. The next day, that Sunday, Sariah was supposed to go to her restaurant job, but never made it. Hildebrand finally reported her missing that Monday. There was a lot in this story that just didn't add up. For example, Hildebrand claimed that when Sariah left the apartment, apparently opting to walk rather than drive, she left her cell phone behind. But then Sariah's coworkers later received a message on her phone saying she had to call out sick. So how could she have sent that message if she was already on her way out and her phone was back at the apartment? According to a criminal complaint, Hildebrand denied sending the text, but really couldn't explain how they fit the timeline that he gave police. Multiple search parties were formed with members of the military, community volunteers, Sariah's mom, Meredith Barney, joining the search. And we got a chance to speak to her too. Again, I'm going to play you that interview. But Hildebrand himself also joined the searches. And that was also another interesting component about that, because in hindsight, witnesses testified that he didn't react to the situation in any way that you would expect a husband in that situation to react. And after several days, a drone operator combing the area from overhead directed searchers to a storm drain. And that is where Sariah's body was found, stuffed inside. Gunshot wound to the head. That would be confirmed by an autopsy. During opening statements at trial, prosecutors argued that the couple, they fought when they returned to the apartment, reportedly because Sariah had discovered that Zaryus Hildebrand was having an affair. And the prosecution said the fight ended in murder. Now, the defense, they did something interesting. They admitted, look, Hildebrand, yeah, he cleaned up the blood. He hit Sariah's body, but he didn't kill her. No, his attorneys argue that Hildebrand was drunk, exhausted, fell asleep, and then woke up to find his wife dead from an accidental self-inflicted gunshot wound. That was the defense's theory. Now, I'm going to play you this whole interview, but I just want to play you a portion of this because, again, I sat down with Meredith Barney, Sariah's mom, and I asked her about Zaryus Hildebrand, what he was like as a person, how he behaved after his new bride was supposedly missing. and what the guilty verdict means for her quest for justice.
There was multiple times we were supposed to meet with him that he ghosted or he had an excuse. There was a point when me and my sister were like, we're going to go search in the woods. And he said, oh, don't go without me. Let me grab my gun before we go. And we were like, hard pass. We're going to be okay. We don't need you to come with us with a gun, right? Because I already had this suspicion in me. And so like all the things that we did was coming from that perspective. And also I need to stay his friend, right? So that was probably the most difficult thing, is I needed to try to stay where him feeling supported in case something slipped, and trying to be engaging with him and supportive to him, even though like I didn't trust a single thing he said. That's why when me and my sister went on the search party with him, at one point we let him lead us so that we would look for where he didn't take us. But the reality is it doesn't change anything for me. It doesn't bring my daughter back. It doesn't give me a sense of relief. It just means he's going to be held accountable. But it doesn't, like, my life is still the same. She's still gone.
Okay, so again, we're going to have more of that very emotional interview coming up in just a few minutes. But before we even get to that, to put it into context, I want to talk about one of the most unexpected parts of the trial. Zaryus Hildebrand, the defendant, chose to take the stand in his own defense. It's always a defendant's option. It's a defendant's choice whether to do that. This is a decision, though, that left him open to scathing cross-examination by the prosecution. But on direct examination, meaning when Hildebrand's defense attorney was asking about questions and asking about his early life in the foster care system and his history with alcohol, this is what he had to say.
When you drink heavily, you said sometimes you've blacked out. You recall that?
Yes.
Or you recall waking up and not knowing what happened?
Yes.
Would you ever watch videos of yourself doing things you don't remember doing?
Occasionally, yes. I would typically go through my phone after a night where I didn't remember what happened, and that's usually what my routine was.
And did you ever, besides blackout drinking, when you drink a lot, what would normally happen?
Usually find somewhere to go to sleep.
Have you ever slept hard through something while you were drinking?
Yeah, when I decide I want to lay down, pretty much the only thing that's going to wake me up is myself. Like, I will wake up when I want to.
And the defense also addressed what the prosecution said led up to this deadly altercation between Hildebrand and his wife, the fact that he was cheating on her.
I want to talk a little bit more about your relationship with Sariah. I specifically want to talk about a girl named Cheyenne.
Okay.
Zaryus, who is Cheyenne?
She was a woman I was having an affair with. She lived back in Kentucky.
How did you meet her?
We met when I was younger, before I'd left for the Army.
How did you communicate with Cheyenne?
We communicated on Snapchat.
When did you start talking to Cheyenne on Snapchat?
Initially, probably around 2020. And then we kind of fell off and then reconnected in 2023.
What month?
Did we reconnect?
Yes.
March, April.
When you were married to Sariah, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ever have a conversation, or were you ever confronted about Cheyenne by Sariah?
No.
Were there other girls besides Cheyenne?
Just once, yes.
Did Sariah ever confront you with suspicions that you were cheating on her?
Yes.
And when was that?
That would have been around April or May of 2023.
How can you remember that date?
How?
Yes.
I tend to use when I go out to the field to kind of date my years, and we had just recently came back from the field.
So when was When did you go to the field last in 2023?
July of 2023.
And before the July 2023 field training, when was the time that you'd been out before that?
February into March of 2023 was a pretty big training exercise.
How many weeks was it?
5.
Where was it?
It was, I'm going to say Fairbanks because I don't really know the interior very well, but it was, I remember my phone locating it at the North Pole.
Did you take your phone with you to the training?
I had it on me, but like once it's called going into the box, the phones were kind of left off because it was a very serious training environment.